Dubiously, I inspected him from head to toe, taking note of the stone-like juts for ears and his remarkable eyes. He balked under my stare, but quickly regained his dignity. What the hell's in the sweat droplet? It's like a speck of dirt. His eyebrows furrowed fiercely. So why would an earth dragon be here? Her? It's not because I wanted to. He blurted out angrily, then touched his unique ears to comfort. For comfort, I sighed and tilted my head from side to side as I absorbed his explanation. Alright, I'll admit I'm not exactly accepting this as feasible, but I'm not dismissing it either, ... You can't transform back? If I could, do you think I would remain in this pathetic body? So weak. I instinctively patted my sword hilt to counter that remark, but stopped when I saw him attempt to stand again. It was like watching a toddler take his or her first steps, but instead of cutely coaxing, I was fervently discouraging his efforts. We've already established that you're unfamiliar with your form. Besides, it's too dark to walk around aimlessly. I'll find a walking stick for you, and we can return to Barry if you'd like. It'd feel wrong if I abandoned you in this state.
I don't need your help.
Well then, calm yourself. Are you saying I can't handle myself? I'm pointing it out. Realizing we were both escalating our voices, I looked away in a huff, not wanting to have our encounter turn sour so rapidly. An altar. I need to find an altar. You heaven-kind worship us, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, the dragon-kind were here first, so it's only natural we pay our respects. I admit, I thought dragons were more divine and irreproachable. Care was definitely giving me a different impression. I barely knew anything about the dragon-kind, though. They focused on their own affairs. You will take me there. Fine then. It was a plain statement, not a suggestion nor a plea. Why an altar? They're all heavenkind made. How would it help you? He parried my question exasperately. Really? It doesn't matter. Do you know where one is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, there's one not far from here. There's a cave that leads to it. Relief washed over his face, and for once his scowl vanished. Good, we should go there this instant. He obstinately, just gotta make that clear, tried to stand up again, but I lunged forward and firmly sat him back down. He gaped at me in disbelief. My will was as stubborn as his. Morning, we will do it in the morning. Get some sleep and I'll find an ideal walking stick. I don't think you'll master bipedalism without some assistance, especially not in a day, and it'll be difficult if I have to physically support you the whole way there. So just take it easy tonight. I'll keep watch while you sleep. After my entreatment, he fell silent and gave a reluctant nod, closing his eyes wearily. I sighed gratefully, feeling moderately triumphant over the battle of pig-headedness. And as Care was grumbling, I leaned over and pulled a small blanket out of my bag. The temperature was still pleasant, even at night, but it could cool rapidly, especially since it was the end of summer. After returning some items to my bag, I reshaped it so I was passable pillow again and offered it to Care, who seemed puzzled by its purpose. Believe me, you'll need something comfortable or you'll have trouble sleeping. Worse, you'll wake up with a sore back, and getting to the altar will be even more troublesome. You already slept on it once. I think you can figure out how to support your head with it. I laughed sheepishly. See, there's where the laugh should go in, not at the previous sentence where it was just kind of confusing. Laughed sheepishly at my own stab at lightening the mood, but I could tell it wasn't working on Care. Disgrunted, he lay down on his side and experimented with a few positions before resting his head in satisfaction. First, he refused to use the blanket, but as the temperature dropped, he discreetly pulled it towards him when he thought I wouldn't notice. Probably to hide his expression, he rolled over so his back was to me and the campfire. I had the feeling the initial shock took a lot out of him, and I admittedly hadn't helped when he'd ruffled my feathers more than once. Now that he was sleeping, though, any irritation I still felt dispersed along with the summer heat. I need to be mentally and physically prepared for tomorrow. Stay cool and collected as autumn. I poked the fire and stayed on my watch until exhaustion beguiled me into resting my eyes for just a few minutes. Why is she poking him with a stick? And how is the fire still going? That I have the hand in them though. That's pretty funny. Hey. ... Sigh. Oh please, I've had less sleep than you and I'm already yawn energized and ready to go. Patting, I poked Care some more with a walking stick I had fashioned for him. It hadn't been easy to find a sturdy stick in a birch forest, but had located a long one that would suffice. I had spent the morning carving off any bark and had indented the top to make it easier to grip. Now it was my dragon prod. Up. Alright, sacred dragon.
Whoa.
Cut that out. Care hastily shot up, throwing off my blanket at in a feeble attempt to hide his fact he had used it. I decided to counter his usual scowl with the perkiest and most tearful grin I could muster. Oh god.
Whoops, sorry about that.
Whoops, sorry about that, indeed. Good morning. My buoyancy was genuine. For some reason, it satisfied me to know that my vivaciousness irked him. The word choices in this game so far. I could use my sunny disposition to my advantage. It'd be better than snapping at him at any rate. Stop poking me with that.
You're welcome.
It's your walking stick. Here, you're welcome. I turned it sideways and offered it to him. He warily gazed at it as if I was presenting a cobra instead, but carefully grasped it. I can't, I don't know what it is about reading sometimes, but I'm having one of those days where I literally cannot read. Cautiously, he pressed the stick against the ground as he stood up. I remained close, lest he topple over like yesterday. His fingers drummed against the carved handle, and he looked at me quizzically. You spent time on this?
Right.
That right is not an acceptable answer. That doesn't even make any sense. You spent time on this, right? What? Well, I wanted to finish it off with a pretty flowing ribbon, but I had the feeling you wouldn't like it. Grumbling, Care took a step forward, leaning on the stake before hesitantly taking another one. With each step, he regained some confidence, and as soon as he was walking in a straight line, albeit with uneven gait. Shouldn't it be he gained? Because whatever. I'm just gonna stop. You could not exactly break into a run, or even a brisk stride, but it was a huge improvement from last night. I estimated we could reach the cave leading to the altar by mid-afternoon. I quickly packed and followed him, since I had the feeling the only thing on his mind was that altar. It's this way. Chia. I pointed towards the gentle incline, and Care narrowed his eyes resentfully. Going downhill would probably be difficult for him. As we headed towards our destination, I kept my distance at first, but I gradually drew towards Care. One hand extended in anticipation of a stumble. Care balked and increased the distance between us, determined to progress on his own. However, his pace was excruciating. Oh my god, I can't. He was slow as fuck, alright? He was slow as fuck. Let's get that over with. And he was unwilling to start any small talk. As the slope gradually steepened. His footing became more unsteady, and I worryingly grabbed his arm for support.
Whoa!
Whoa! What? He twirled around in surprise, and I actually did end up bracing him. Once he was stable again, I sighed. Look, I know you don't like me touching you, but if your priority is to get that altar as soon as possible, I think you can swallow your dignity and accept my help. Besides, no one else is around to see.
I don't need your help.
I don't need your help. Well, excuse me. You've done enough. I don't need any more help from you. He shifted his weight and started using the stick to ward me away. Frowned disapprovingly. Hey, if you try to hit me with that thing, I'll confiscate it. Ch. Even I wouldn't do something like that. Gritting his teeth, he leaned heavily against one of the birch trees. When I get back, I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. Who? My master. His curt answer stalled the torrent of questions piling up in my head. Ow, that was my wrist. It would be poor of me to interrogate him when he was still obviously overwhelmed by the situation. Right now, the goal was more important.
Right.
Then let's get you to that cave. You believe me? Everything I told you? Maybe you're just a very convincing. Maybe you're just a very convincing actor. Can't. But I think even an actor would drop his charade after a while. What the fuck was that? Oh, just as I was about to reach for him again, a low grumble pierced the forest. I glanced at Care in amused bafflement. He averted his eyes, but I could tell he was embarrassed. You know, if you're hungry...
Shut up!
Shut up! Shut up, Mom! I'm not. Another complaint from his stomach. I think he'd be able to walk faster if he had something to eat. What did dragons eat anyways? Annoying. Meddling heavenkind. I rolled my eyes. Well, you have the heavenkind stomach now, and I doubt it'll agree with a diet like that. But it does make sense that you wouldn't want to try the bread or cheese. I doubt dragons thresh rye or run dairy farms. It was then that I remembered the apple tart. Even if Care found the pastry part detestable, the fruit would probably be familiar to him. I urged him to sit down. When he refused, I simply made myself comfortable on the ground first. Here, this is the closest thing I have to something found in nature. I could forage, but that would take even longer. What is that? It's a pastry. My dad owns a bakery. You probably wouldn't understand that. It's basically a treat with apple filling. I think some apricot jam. Thankfully, my dad preferred showing off the natural ingredients. As a result, the top of the tart had thin slices of appetizing fruit covered with lustrous. Keep adding in words because they just fit. Like a lustrous yellow glaze sounds better than a lustrous. Another one of these. They're pretty funny, I have to say. Care sniffed at it warily. It must have been agreeable enough since he soon accepted the pastry. You're welcome. As soon as he started nibbling on it, he must have realized how famished he really was because he quickly devoured the entire tart. I watched as he coughed slightly and wiped the crumbs off his mouth, but his expression was unreadable. So, how was it? Ch. Anything tastes fine when you're starving. Or you just inhale it so fast you didn't exactly taste it. Well, it should tide you over until we reach the altar. Care grabbed his stick and resumed our trip. The extra sugar boost seemed to lift both the pace and his mood, although he stayed taciturn. As we continued through the forest, I stopped and groaned when I spotted some dark trees.
Oh no.
Oh no. Those are Euphelbin trees? Completely forgot. We should probably go around them. Euphelbin? You peered out the thick, gnarly trunk. What, scared of the bark? It'll be quicker if we continue in a straight line.